Branding, defined as the promotion of a particular product or company by means of advertising and distinctive design. The key word here would be distinctive. In the fashion world, standing out and bringing something different to the table is something that will be a very large defining factor in your overall success. The brands that do something different or new are often the ones getting the most traction and the most success. In an age where attention is currency and our attention spans are shrinking, businesses of today have to stand out of the crowd if they want to succeed. We've even done it ourselves. We did a complete 180 on our platform and did a complete revamp from the visuals, the website to the content and more. We decided to bring more life to the platform in order for a better impact in the space. That being said, revamping and creating a visual identity is a gradual process. You may have an idea right now, but don't be fully attached to it. Realize things can change and allow that to happen so that you can grow and adapt over time. You may not be completely sure about your visuals yet, and that's fine, because the same principle applies. As you expose yourself to more content in the culture and grow as a person, you'll develop this over time. Undiscovered may again look different down the line. We're even seeing it with fashion brands currently, so don't be stuck on a certain look and don't be discouraged if you're not sure yet. As long as you keep going with your brand, these pieces will come together naturally. And I say naturally because you don't want to force or rush any of the process. I actually learned the hard way of this. Looking over the underground scene, one issue I found was the lack of visual identity brands have. A lot of brands get inspired by one aesthetic, and now you have brands all copying each other and looking the same. Seems issues what inspired this video. I think one brand that does this really well is Trevor Gorgie with his brand Fugazi. I like what he does with his typography, the style of imagery, and the deep red colour he consistently uses. It gives him the exact aesthetic he's looking for and wants to present. Another brand that does this really well is a small brand here in the UK called the Satori Club. He's also done a revamp on his brand, and I was lucky to see this come into fruition. I was able to hop on a call with him to hopefully gain more insight for you guys to take away and implement for your own brand. So I'm here with Jake from the Satori Club. Jake, tell the people a little bit about your brand.
So it's basically a brand that's all about kind of like wellness, kind of like being happy within yourself. That's where the word Satori comes from. It means sudden enlightenment. So it's kind of like, I see it as getting the little small wins and taking it as a positive and moving as much as you possibly can with it.
Yeah.
And I want like an entire club and an entire kind of like clothing brand around it. And that's kind of like the main focus of it.
Yeah. Okay. That's pretty cool. I never even knew about that word, so that's pretty cool. So obviously with your brand, I've talked to you before about just a kind of consultation call, and since then you've really kind of revamped your brand, and you really kind of refined your image and your visual identity. What kind of pushed you to do that revamp?
Well, I was looking at my page, and my page kind of just had such a random layout. If you looked at it, you would never guess it was a brand. You'd be like, oh, it's just a random page putting stuff up.
Yeah.
So then I kind of stepped back and I was like, there's zero color theme. There's not like a mascot like that brings everything in. I had that rough kind of thing with Flower Boy.
Yeah.
But he needed a little bit of tweaking, so I couldn't really do much with him. So I pulled it all back and I was like, okay, what do I really want to go with?
Yeah.
And then I want to go with like, it's kind of like rough mixed with clean. So I've got the rough sketches with all of like the hand done lettering and all that type of stuff. And then I've got the polished kind of photography aspect of it.
Yeah.
I feel like that would bring so much to when you initially come onto the page. You don't just see it and it's just, oh, it's another page. You see it and you're like, it's an actual brand.
Yeah. It looks really cool. I do definitely agree with you. I'm looking at your page now. It definitely looks more so like a brand. It looks like you're kind of set and ready, and you've definitely kind of had that on point. For the next kind of question, I wanted to ask you, how did you go about brainstorming exactly? Like, from where exactly did you start? Because with revamping and thinking of visual identity and logos, it's very kind of difficult to make a grand start from it. So what was your kind of process brainstorming the ideas for this revamp?
Well, the first thing I had to kind of think of was, who am I kind of marketing it for? Because that kind of structured the whole kind of base for it. And as soon as I understood that, then it was kind of like, where do I go from here? And then I did some background research with kind of what's popular, what's going to be popular, and kind of like seeing trends. And I saw a big trend with just using your actual handwriting and using kind of like your own calligraphy to bring it in. Yeah. That's why I've now my own Satori Club font, because it's all now been done by hand and it's fully unique. And then with the Flower Boy change, I saw within the facial features that it was kind of lacking like expression. So I changed the eyes a bit and I changed up the smile. And since I've done that, I've been able to do so much more with it. That's kind of where I got it all from.
Yeah, I really like these kind of details that you've given. Like, it's so clear that you've thought about it inside and out.
It had to be done. It had to be done because it's those little details which bring people back and show that you're meaningful for.
How did you develop it further on? Are you still kind of in development phase, or do you feel like you've kind of gotten to a point where you're pretty cool?
I'm still in kind of like development phase. I'm kind of seeing what the audience kind of attracts to. So I'm still kind of like playing around with like how I've structured my stories. Because before I used to just basically slap on a photo and stuff.
Yeah.
To actually put like the Satori Club name and actually have like a format to it, and people seem to respond to that a lot better. Exactly. So I've added it to our guidelines, and I'm slowly adding more and more things and taking things away. So I'm still in kind of like the process of it all.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, because I realized with branding and visual identity, it's a process. You won't get everything set straight away. For the revamp, did you kind of follow a guideline book or like a template?
My background of like working is I used to do work in graphic design, so I already had like a template. So I basically worked off that and added my own little like spin to the template. And it worked off.
Okay, that's pretty interesting. So with all that being said, how important do you think a visual identity is for brands, and do you have any kind of tips for any brands watching?
I would say it's huge. It's if you don't really have like a visual identity, it's kind of hard to kind of pick you out of a crowd of people, because there's so many clothing brands now. It's such a saturated market, but it's finding that niche market within the saturation, which you like creating your own kind of like branding, which you might have to do through revamping it. With me, it's homing on who your following is and who you want to target your products to before you do any form of branding. Have that main solid basis before you do anything.
Okay, that's a very good answer. I definitely agree. I think branding is so important. Obviously, when you're starting out as a brand, I've kind of mentioned this before, but it's a bit difficult to kind of come up with something from the get-go. But again, it's a process. It's a long-term process. You've got to think about it long-term. That's pretty much for all the questions on my end. Would you like to plug anything of your brand?
So on the 5th of October, I've got the release of our essential tees. I've got all 4 of the colorways on hand right here.
I've seen these. I really like these.
I've got the black with a simple print on the front, and then I got the back piece.
Wow.
That's with all of them. I believe the white one was the one that you said you liked.
This one was my favorite. Yeah.
So I've got it's such a subtle one. So when the light hits it, more of like a. And then I had a secondary white one, which I'm going to show on the story soon. So if you want to see that, it'll be on the story. But this is the other one. I've got 2 alternates. I got the light one and also the dark one. Yeah. Kind of still trying to figure out which one will be perfect.
Yeah, playing around with samples.
Yeah, by the 5th of October, it will be neatened out and ready to go. Yeah. And then we've got the brown one to finish it.
Wow, this one looks good as well, actually.
Yeah, that's pretty much everything. I've just got the release coming up, so.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I'll link all your information on the video, so don't worry, I got you, man.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, of course. Jake, thank you so much for hopping on. It's been a pleasure talking to you. Thank you for all the gems that you dropped. I'm pretty sure that a lot of brands are going to take a lot out of this, so thank you so much.
Thank you for having me on.
Of course.
So that was pretty much it for the call. Let's take a look at some of the key takeaways so you can leave the video with something to implement. Firstly, ask yourself, who am I marketing it for? This will lead you to where you go in terms of research and starting ideas. Think of it like a puzzle where you're putting pieces together. Number 2, think long term. Visual branding takes time and will also form and change shape over time. Use the reception as a way of feedback for development, and also don't be afraid to ask directly for feedback. Number 3, using a brand guideline book for visuals can help. You can find brand guideline templates online, but overall, having a brand guideline book will help shape your brand, as you and your team members can always refer back to it. It ensures you to take it seriously and remember everything needed for your brand. And lastly, visual branding is huge. You must stand out from a saturated market. Think about your following and who you want to target. Have that strong foundation set before thinking about the visuals. If you're at a stage where you feel like you've gained good ground with your brand's visuals and want to get it out there more, send us a DM or email for a feature. We offer a range of places you can advertise your brand with us, including our website, individual articles, our YouTube channel, our email newsletter, and our other social media platforms. Any information you need will be in the pinned comment or description. I hope this video was helpful to you. Be sure to subscribe for more videos like this and share this to a friend who needs this. Thank you.